All right, give it a couple minutes. Hello, my name is William Danny, and this video is for Danntech Unlimited. I want to talk about a subject that probably a lot of people are really already familiar with, but surprisingly, some people may not be. And somebody caught me by surprise just this past weekend. A lot of people are probably used to these large pop-ups that can sometimes occur on your screen. They pop up with a big flash red or green or orange or some flashy color, and it basically is a message that tells you to dial this number because your laptop or your device, your desktop has been infected by some virus. So I want to get through to you today if you are not familiar with this message. If for any reason that it should pop up on your screen, do not call the number. Whatever you do, don't call the number. Only bad things will happen after you dial that number. This is a ploy. It's a trick. Somebody's trying to bamboozle you. Somebody's trying to fish you into a trap or lure you into a position where you will be asked to offer your credit card information or some information from your banking institution or possibly a debit card or something like that. So I'm telling you now, and hopefully this is reaching some people that may not be familiar with this type of ploy or this type of message or this type of attack. If it does occur, if you see a message that pops up on your screen for no apparent reason, and it says blah blah blah, dial this number because your computer has been infected, do not call the number. I had a client that got hit by this attack just this Friday, and I was surprised. I was surprised that some people were still not aware of this type of attack, but unfortunately, some people were not. So she had a couple of questions. Again, unfortunately, she did get lured by the attack, so she actually did dial the number, and she'd asked, "What should she do?" I told her to immediately contact her banking institution or credit card company if she had indeed offered the attacker any kind of financial information, which she did. So she contacted the banking institution. They blocked any further purchases from that particular attacker, and they also were able to refund her the money that was taken out of her account due to the attack. So that was a good thing. But again, I wanted to stress that if you should for any reason see this same type of pop-up on your screen, some message, usually attacks through the browser, usually you're surfing, and it doesn't have to be any kind of strange websites. It can be an everyday website, it can be household goods, it can be Walmart, but sometimes websites get attacked themselves, and therefore the attack spreads or it opens a door for the attacker to reach you. Now, nothing's actually happened to your computer at this point. It's basically just a phishing tactic. It's a ploy to get you to dial the number, and I'm telling you, do not dial the number. Whatever you do, don't dial the number. But it's a ploy to get you to dial the number so that the attacker can extract additional information from you. They're looking for your credit card information, your name, that type of stuff. And there's two reasons why these types of attacks happen. One is because the attacker is seeking immediate money. They're trying to extort you for some type of financial gain by luring you into believing that your computer has been infected by some virus, which it hasn't been, probably not by this message. This message is just, again, it's a ploy, it's a phishing attack. The second thing the attackers are trying to do is to gain your credit card information or your debit card information, because once they have that, they're probably going to deduct funds based on some fictitious transaction. They may attempt to make additional deductions from your account, and they will also possibly try to sell your information. And this is partly how some people's identity is stolen. So again, if you see some message on your screen that says dial this number because your computer has been infected with a virus or has been attacked, do not dial the number. Now, some of the things that you can do, if you do see this type of message, you can kill the browser. Now, if you can close the browser, just close it, because again, at this point, more than likely, your computer has not been infected. It's just a ploy. So you can simply close the browser. If you're not able to close the browser, what you can do is press Control Alt Delete. If you're running a Windows machine, you can press Control Alt Delete, and a system menu will pop up. A system menu, security menu actually will pop up, and from that menu you want to choose Task Manager. From the list of tasks that appear, search for your browser, whatever browser you might be using. If it's Chrome or IE or Firefox, you want to select that browser, and then once it's selected within the list of tasks, you want to kill the browser, or end task is actually what you're looking for. So you want to end the task, and that will actually close the browser. She asked me a couple of questions, my client did, after she got attacked, and again, luckily she was able to get her money back, so that's a good thing. So she had asked, if you call the number, what should you do? And I explained to her that call your bank, contact your bank, and see if you can get your money back, and also block any other further purchases that this attacker might try to make. My client also asked about virus protection or antivirus. So I'm going to tell you now, you should have antivirus in this day and age. You should have antivirus on any device that's connected to the internet. So if it's your mobile phone, if it's a mobile device, a tablet, if it's your computer or your laptop, you should definitely have some type of antivirus running on that device. Even if you have a Mac, there was a point in time when Macs didn't really have to worry about antivirus software or applications, but that time is long gone. Macs have become they have had to become survivors of their success. Now that they're so prevalent and so popular, a lot of people have them, and a lot of attackers realize that a lot of people have Macs, and they go after them. They try to attack them. So if you have any kind of device, if it's a laptop or tablet, a mobile phone, it should be protected by some type of antivirus. My client asked, what's the best antivirus to use? Well, any antivirus is good, honestly. There's a lot of them on the market. And there are so many attackers, so many malicious hackers out there that are constantly creating and developing different types of software and packages to attack and go after not just you, but some of the big businesses. And sometimes we, as home users and small office users and businesses, get caught up in the mix. So really, any antivirus is going to be good, because none of them can catch all the things that are out there. But some of the good ones you can use, of course, are McAfee or McAfee, depending on where you are, how you pronounce it. Norton. Two good free antivirus packages would be Avast and also AVG. I use both of those. I lean more towards Avast because even in an enterprise environment, Avast works well. Also AVG, but I kind of lean more towards Avast because it works well both in the enterprise and also in a small home or small office environment. But again, any of those products are going to be good. And the free options of Avast and AVG work fine. They work well. You can spring for the additional monthly subscriptions. And I think they run somewhere between $20 or $30, depending on which option you choose. And excuse me, it's not monthly. It's a yearly fee actually, and it's worth it. If you go for the free options, you just got to deal with the ads. The ads aren't bad, but believe me, they're worth it. So when you get your antivirus and you have it installed, which is very important. Again, any device you have connected to the internet should have some type of antivirus running on it. That's number one. And there are two additional things that you need to be concerned about once you have your antivirus installed. One is the virus definitions. Very, very important that the virus definitions be kept up to date. So, if you're running a reputable antivirus application, it should ask you periodically to update the antivirus definitions. It may do it automatically, which is a very good thing if it does. If it's not set up to do it automatically, it may ask you to manually do it. It's very important that the antivirus definitions, or the virus definitions rather, are updated and kept up to date. The virus definitions is how the antivirus application stays aware of any new viruses or new types of attacks that are out there. So it's very important that the virus definition files are kept up to date. The second thing to keep in mind is the scans. The virus scan has to run. So whatever kind of application you're using for antivirus, it should be scanning your machine or your device periodically, and those scans have to run. It's the only way. If your machine is infected, if there's some kind of potential threat that needs to be cleaned or that's unknown to you or the machine, the virus scan has to run in order to find the threat and kill it or get rid of it or clean it. So two things happen usually when virus scans run. One, it runs at a time that's not convenient for the person that's using the machine, so they stop it or they kill it. And that's understandable. Only ask that if you do that, you let the scan run eventually. So when you get up, when you go to bed, and when you do something, let the scan run. A good way of getting around the scan running at a time that's not convenient is if you actually schedule the scans. Most scans are set to run at like 3, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, which is usually a time for normal people when they're not using their PCs or their laptops or their mobile devices. If we're talking about running antivirus on a mobile device, and again, antivirus should be running on any machine or device connected to the internet. That leads us to the second thing. Sometimes what happens is that a scan runs at a time that's not convenient, and people stop it, and then they never start it again. So if that happens, again, the best thing that you can do is schedule the scan so that it runs. If you have a scheduled scan and it runs, it can only run if the device is on, if it's running. So in other words, if you have a scan scheduled to run on your laptop at 3 o'clock in the morning, but your laptop is shut down or is closed, of course the scan probably won't run. So usually what happens is that as soon as you open your laptop or you start doing some type of work, here comes the virus scan, and it's running at an inconvenient time, and that puts us back into position 1. So what we want to do basically is schedule a scan to make it most convenient for you, and try to remember whenever you have that scan scheduled so that the antivirus can run and it can be effective, and it can clean and get rid of any threat that you might have on your PC. And my client asked also, what's the best defense, if not antivirus, against being attacked? Well, antivirus is pretty much your best defense. And it kind of runs neck and neck with backing up your computer or backing up your laptop, your netbook, your mobile device, your mobile phone, whatever you might be using. Back it up. Back it up to the cloud. If you have some kind of home device that you can back it up to, back it up. That's going to be the most important thing that you can do next to having antivirus on your machine. And the reason why I say that is because if your machine is attacked, if the antivirus is not able to clean it or get rid of the threat, then your machine may have to be wiped. If it's wiped, then your data, it may go away. You may lose it. So you may need to, it's going to be a good idea to back it up so that you have a good backup. And backup should run frequently so that in the event that you are attacked, you can go back and retrieve your data from a not too distant time or point in the past. Another reason why you want to back up your data is because some of the attacks that are out there nowadays, they lock your files if they attack your computer. You don't see that a lot in a home environment or a small office environment. You see it more on an enterprise level. But it does happen. I've seen home users get attacked by particular types of viruses or certain strings that will lock their files. And when that happens, if you don't have a backup, you're pretty much out of luck. So next important to having good antivirus, having it up to date, having it scan your machine, and having the virus definitions again up to date is backing up your data. It's very, very important. And that's about it. So again, luckily my client that was lured into the trap of dialing that number saying that your browser has been attacked, she was able to contact her banking institution and reclaim her money. So that's a good thing. And she also was able to block any further purchases from that attacker in the event that they try something else sneaky. So that's about it, man. If you have any questions for me, let me know. If your computer has been attacked and your antivirus isn't able to clean it, then of course you can contact the good folks here at Danntech Unlimited. You can reach us always at 410-921-9157. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, give Danntech a call, or send me an email. You can reach Danntech at info@danntech.net. Thank you. Have a good night, a good evening, a good morning, or whatever time it may be when you're watching this video. See you later.